And in the other camp, Jonathan Trott. Can this be the time they close the deal? Can it be? Jofra Archer couldn't do it. He thought a big swing of the bat down the ground and 6 would just take the onus away from Afghanistan. Nasser, he missed his target.
Incredible scenes here. It is still tense. You never ever take the game for granted. Rashid Khan making sure they're focused. Mark Wood, we know, can hit a big ball. We know he can bat. England need him to bat. They need him to run. It is all on the line here. You lose, you're gone.
13 from 7. Do they want one? Do they want Rashid on strike? They may well do that. It's 13 from 6 here, folks. Amazing scenes.
I wonder whether that conversation was about just leave Adil Rashid on strike. Leave him on strike. Can he find 2 boundaries in the first 3 balls? Highly capable, we know that. Assess it after 3 balls. What do we need to do? Do we need to take the quick one? Can I afford to take 3 deliveries?
Can you get back for 2? Just looking at that first ball for Wood, he set off to run and then he hobbled back. Can you get back for 2, Woody? That's the conversation. Or have I got to stay on strike and keep belting it?
I always say, and we're talking now about the batting side of things, the pressure on the batsman. Well, Dooley, there's a heck of a lot of pressure on Azmat here. He's sitting on a 5 for which would be absolutely magnificent. The umpires have calling what for more sawdust? What else more could they be calling for? He wants sawdust.
Tell you what they're doing. They're calling Fazalak Farooqi back on the field, and rightly so. So this is a moment that happens a little too often. If you're good enough to bowl, you have to stay on the field. You can't just finish your overs and go off and get someone else on. He was good enough to come back on after the injury and bowl. Now this has happened already in the tournament. Not sure of the game that it happened in, but someone else was called back on the field, so they're saying, no, I'm sorry, I'm not having it. Very good umpiring.
Yeah, good spot from you too, Dooley. You're right. You're spot on. Absolutely right. And he will hobble his way down to a short, fine leg, Fazal Farooqi, and hope like heck that he's not called upon to do something special. Here's Azmat. 13 from 6. Rashid decides, I've got to go for it. Now they've got to come back for 2, otherwise Wood's on strike and he can't get back.
Can't run, he can't move. 12 from 5, he's got to swing hard now.
Long on, deep mid-wicket. Mark Wood. I've seen him hit some enormous 6s in Test match cricket. He is not worried about clearing the boundary. Wait for it. Try and keep your shape. Such a difficult thing to do at this stage of the game.
Can't even keep our shape up here.
We're in a better shape.
Come off the hour, Dooley. Come off the hour. 12 from 5. Mark Wood. Azmat, he thrashes him out to point, but it's only a single. He timed it beautifully. Couldn't find a gap.
No boundary for 12 deliveries at this stage of a game. That is so costly when every ball here should be going towards the boundary. England have hit a wall with the boundary count, and that has put that equation in favour of Afghanistan. They now need boundaries. Nothing else will do.
And Jofra Archer sums it up. That shot of Jofra Archer sitting there with his pad still on, helpless, sums it up. Here we go. Straight up, but safe. Still can't come back for 2, so it's back to Wood again. 10 from 3. Desperate times here. What a shot that is of a player who had the game in the palm of his hand but couldn't find the boundary. Upstairs on the balcony, there's half a dozen guys thinking the same thing. This would be huge for Afghanistan cricket. They have made such giant strides so quickly. Here's another one in the offing. on the target, and Wood can only just limp down for one, and we're down to 9 from 2.
2 fours for a super over, Adil Rashid.
He's got to stay on strike. Take both balls and see what happens.
Well, if he can't hit a 4 though, they have to run a 2 to bring a 6 into the equation.
Run out.
Well,
or he's got to go for it, Smithy. You're right.
He has to hit. He has to hit. It has to go now. It's got to go now. Has it gone far enough? Has it? It hasn't. Ibrahim, we're good with the bat, has the final say with his hands, and there's an invasion here from Afghanistan, and why not? What a special moment in their cricket history. England sit on the balcony in despair, absolute despair, and Afghanistan are the toast of their nation, and maybe this one too.
Simply brilliant, Afghanistan. What a game of cricket as well. England have contributed massively to it. It's been a superb game of cricket on a great cricket surface. And Azmatullah Omarzai, 5 for 58. Don't forget, 41 off 31 to go along with those 5 wickets. Can you possibly take a player of the match performance away from a bloke with 177? I'm not sure, but it's not a bad effort in trying to do so. And Afghanistan, 8 runs, there's the muscles. Brilliant.
Delhi in the 50-over World Cup, Reed Lahore in the Champions Trophy. Afghanistan have beaten England again. They have knocked England out of the tournament. They are still in it. They are full of smiles. One commentator once said, agony for one side, ecstasy for the other. The England team are in disbelief. Afghanistan, truth be told, has played the better cricket.
Well, who did have the biggest influence on this game of cricket? The man that bowled England out, or the man that scored 177?
I would have to say, on this pitch, to get Pfeiffer on an absolute belter and valuable runs, I don't think they'll care one bit. Those 11, the backroom staff. The progression, the progress of individual players and as a team has been incredible. From where they were to where they are now is one of the stories in the cricketing world. They have knocked England out. Simple as that. They have played better than England. And they've got an opportunity now with Australia to come here in Lahore. They have got an opportunity to get through to a semi-final.
And a great shot of Jofra Archer. When you consider back to 2019, he bowled the last over and the only over in the super over. And remember the joy on Jofra Archer's face and on England faces back then. And it just shows you the nature really of high octane sport. And that's what this is. Boy, does he enjoy a good moment. Rashid Khan, his emotions are just so typical. And there's another one of an entirely different variety. Had a quiet day, the muscle man. By his standards, he took one key wicket. You really have to bat. But the atmosphere. What about Joe Root, Thorley? What about the innings from Joe Root? In the end, it matters not, but what a classy player.
Well, it's been a long time coming for a 50-over century for Joe Root. You could see he was getting tired. You could see he was cramping up. He did everything he possibly could. Even when he got out, he felt that Overton and Archer could still win the game for England. Little moments, a break in play, sawdust required. Overton out, very next ball. Caught at the long on boundary for 32. He played well. Couldn't get the job done. 14 for Archer, same sort of thing. Just those players through the middle. Butler looked okay, looked better than he has done in recent times. But dismissed too early. Livingston, one great shot, one false shot, dismissed. And England's story was all that apart from Joe Root.
Well, I'm not blaming Joe Root for a second because he kept them in the game. But there's a number of players there who'll be sitting and just thinking about the options that they took at the wrong time, or the poor option they took instead of something else. And you know, I put Overton in there, I put Livingston in there, I put Butler in there. There's several players who were in and then were out. Couldn't handle it. Asmat handled it, 5 for 58 from 9.5.